I stand at the threshold of a new beginning as I recall the day of the grand estate sale with remarkable clarity. That day was imbued with a unique blend of nostalgia, apprehension, and anticipation. The expansive property, adorned with memories and treasured possessions, served as the backdrop for an event intended to disperse the relics of my past. The estate, filled with items carefully collected over the years, represented not only material value but also the story of my family and my journey. As I arranged tables meticulously under the gentle morning light, I could sense an air of quiet determination mingled with an undercurrent of solemnity. Every object on display, whether a delicate porcelain figurine or a well-worn book, carried with it the weight of personal history, imparting warmth and significance to the proceedings. In this setting, I prepared myself to manage a sale that was both an economic necessity and a ceremonial farewell to a chapter of my life. I arranged each item with care, mindful of the stories they told and the legacy they represented. The estate sale was more than a business transaction, it was a mindful release of attachments and memories. I felt the responsibility of safeguarding the heritage encapsulated in these possessions while sharing them with those who might appreciate their past and promise a future. The early hours of the sale were quiet, yet filled with the potential of unexpected encounters. The deliberate placement of these items mirrored my careful planning, and every table set held the silent promise of transformation. Stepping back, I recognized that this day was a fusion of emotion and practicality, and I braced myself for the unexpected moments that were destined to emerge, each one contributing to a memorable, albeit tumultuous, experience. That day remains unforgettable indeed. During the course of the sale, the estate property transformed into a vibrant arena where an array of visitors moved among the displays. I vividly recall the rhythmic hum of conversations, the measured steps of cautious buyers, and the soft rustle of weathered paper as each individual examined the treasured items on the tables. The arrangement was meticulously planned to highlight the narrative behind each object in the collection. Tables were organized in clusters, each section radiating a distinct mood reflective of the objects showcased, some evoking the gentle melancholy of bygone eras, while others exuded an air of quiet dignity. Every piece was treated as an ambassador of history, communicating silently its own story to an attentive observer. As the hours unfolded, the estate sale became a dynamic interplay of order and spontaneity. I noted that the visitors naturally gravitated toward items that resonated with their personal memories or piqued their curiosity. There was a subtle but discernible energy in the atmosphere that hinted at the approaching chaos of events I was yet to fully comprehend. In a corner of the bustling space, a particular visitor caught my cautious glance. Her presence was unassuming, yet there was a furtive quality in her movements that diverged from the otherwise respectful behavior that the majority displayed. I observed her carefully maneuvering through the clusters of items, her eyes quick to assess and her hands moving with a measured stealth that seemed incongruent with the environment. A closer examination revealed that this visitor, a woman of ambiguous character and intent, was intricately weaving her way through the estate with an agenda that was not entirely benign. There was an air of calculated discretion in her actions, which contrasted sharply with the orderly conduct exhibited by other guests. The stage was quietly set for an unfolding drama that would soon disrupt the harmony of the sale and challenge my management of both the legacy embodied in these items and the respect that the event demanded. Each moment was a silent precursor to inevitable turmoil, quietly building layers of uncertainty and introspection beyond all measure. Amid the orderly progression of the estate sale, a moment of disruption unfolded when I became acutely aware of a disquieting deviation from the expected conduct. In the midst of meticulously arranged tables and focused visitors, I noted a woman whose actions betrayed a calculated disregard for the rules of engagement. With an observable hesitation between compliance and defiance, she moved with deliberate stealth among the displays. As I approached her, I felt a surge of both responsibility and resolve. The atmosphere, hitherto composed and measured, became charged with tension and an unspoken determination to protect the integrity of the sale. It became evident through her behavior that she had intended to abscond with items without rightful payment. In that precise moment, my internal sense of duty compelled me to confront the situation directly. Standing close, I made it unequivocally known that her actions were unacceptable. Despite her initial nonchalance, the swift realization of her misdeed prompted her to discreetly remove several items from the table as she attempted a hasty exit. These items were, notably, ones for which she had offered no payment beyond a negligible sum. My intervention, though firm, was interlaced with an awareness of the delicate balance between enforcement of rules and the acknowledgement of human frailty. The encounter was brief yet intense, encapsulated in the interplay of my authoritative presence and her furtive, almost remorseful, actions. The ensuing moment left me with a complex mixture of emotions: a fleeting gratification for having halted a transgression, countered by a profound contemplation of fairness and respect. The experience underscored an essential reminder that even in seemingly ordinary moments, human behavior can take unexpected turns, inviting both judgment and introspection in equal measure. This intervention marked a turning point that altered the day, definitively breaching trust in every aspect. After the brief confrontation had passed and the unsettling tension began to recede, an unexpected twist emerged in the realm of digital transactions. Later that day, while I reviewed my Venmo balance during a quiet moment of reflection, I made a startling discovery. An automatic notification informed me that, instead of receiving the modest $17.50 intended for the few items traded, my account had been credited with an astonishing sum of $1,750. This was not merely a clerical error but a profound anomaly that disrupted the ordinary flow of events. Instantly, a surge of conflicting emotions arose within me, a collision of vindictive satisfaction with a budding awareness of an ethical dilemma. In that moment, the digital calculation transcended mere numbers, encapsulating the duality of human nature. I was compelled to acknowledge that her initial act of pilfering, though minor in financial terms, had been intermingled with unresolved feelings of annoyance. The significant transaction, now a towering figure, forced me to confront an internal struggle. The appropriate course of action was no longer straightforward. Her subsequent communication, wherein she politely requested the return of the inadvertent excess, presented me with an ethical crossroad. With the digital evidence as irrefutable as the weight of her error, I found myself oscillating between a desire for retribution and an ingrained sense of fairness that vied for prominence in my inner judgment. The gravity of the situation resonated deeply with me, as I carefully computed the implications of retaining the unearned funds against the principles of honesty that had always guided my actions. The experience became a reflective mirror against which I measured my own moral fiber, weighing the transient thrill of justified retribution against the long-term burden of guilt. Every step of that unexpected revelation forced me to reevaluate the fundamental values that underpin human interaction. In the quiet aftermath, the surprising sum on my screen symbolized not merely an error to be corrected, but a profound lesson in the complexities of ethical decision-making and personal responsibility. Thus, the digital miscalculation became a catalyst for moral introspection and deliberate self-assessment in every critical moment. Long after the day of the estate sale had faded into memory, the weight of that event continued to influence my thoughts and actions. In the quiet solitude of my home, I often found myself revisiting the intricate tapestry of emotions that the day had evoked. The flash of confrontation, the unexpected surge of digital fortune, and the ensuing moral quandary all coalesced into a singular experience that resonated deeply within my conscience. This reflective journey was not one marked by simple regret, but rather by a layered recognition of the complexities inherent in human decision-making. I began to understand that the initial satisfaction I had felt in halting the thief was intermingled with an enduring sense of moral ambiguity, a duality that challenged my self-perception and my understanding of justice. I took considerable time to analyze the nature of the error on Venmo and the ethical implications it raised. Though the financial misstep was minor in monetary terms compared to the sum now in my account, it became a symbol of a broader internal conflict. Retaining the unmerited funds had provided a fleeting thrill of justified retribution, a momentary affirmation of my authority over the situation. Yet, that same act introduced a corrosive strain of guilt that quietly gnawed at my conscience. I came to realize that the profound lesson lay not solely in the act of moral judgment but also in the process of self-reflection that followed. Gradually, the initial feelings of vindication gave way to a persistent regret, a remorse that was as much about the lost opportunity for moral redemption as it was about the personal accountability I had shirked. The burden of knowing that I had allowed a digital error to serve as a pretext for personal gain remained a silent, heavy presence in my thoughts. In those moments of introspection, I interrogated my own values, questioning how a single decision could cast long shadows over one's sense of integrity. Ultimately, the reflection spurred in me a resolve to realign my actions with the principles of honesty and fairness, ensuring that future decisions would be informed by a more balanced and ethical outlook, even in the face of unexpected adversities. In the quiet moments that followed each day, I meticulously reviewed my choices while embracing the lessons learned, ultimately affirming that personal growth can only flourish through the honest confrontation of one's own shortcomings without hesitation.